Well, I think that means it's about time for us to go over some announcements. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Well, let's get into it, starting with Imprint, who announced technically during the live show last week, and obviously I'm not crazy enough to post while going through Reconnected, although I think I've done that once before and it was really stupid. Imprint, all three of these announcements are coming on April 24th out of Australia. This first one is April 24th, the directed by John Farrow box set. And this is 5 epic films from the Academy Award-winning Australian-born writer and director John Farrow, including Commando Strike at Dawn, The Hitler Gang, Night Has a Thousand Eyes, Submarine Commando, and Botany Bay. This is a 6-disc limited edition hardbox packed with new and archival special features, including commentaries and interviews, plus a bonus disc that features the acclaimed 2021 documentary called John Farrow, Hollywood's Man in the Shadows. Personally, I don't know that I have seen any. I don't think I've seen any of these 6 films. I think I've seen one of his films before.
I have not seen any that I know of. I do know that he is Mia Farrow's father, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. And Submarine Commander, did that just get a release or getting a release from Kino or something?
Most
I had it
likely
on the show last week or something.
Probably.
I actually looked up a couple of these movies. The most interesting one actually is The Hitler Gang. It's a 1944 propaganda film, basically a biopic of Hitler that's done as like a 1930s gangster film, which sounds fascinating. The other stuff I don't know a whole lot about. I think there is a documentary though, so if you're into this, I think that might be the place to start is with that doc, because I just know nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean these releases that they're doing these docs with, it is again like quintessential releases for them. And for anybody that might recognize his name and say, "What have I seen from him before?" The one that I've seen, which is a nice Arrow Academy release a handful of years ago, was The Big Clock. John Farrow also directed that one.
I think he did a John Wayne movie too.
I feel like everybody did around then.
Yeah, it's true.
Next up is the next of the Tales of Adventure collection boxes. This one is the 3rd volume in this set, and this will include 10 Tall Men, The Heroes of Telemark, Sands of the Kalahari, and Lost Command. Once again, this is limited to only 1,500 copies. You got that hard box that we always do, and they've got some features on a couple of these, and then a couple that'll be a little bit bare bones. I'm sure that this has its fans. I know Sardis in the chat really loves these. Any of these up your alley?
I've never bought one of these boxes, but I've watched Sands of the Kalahari, and I hate to spring this on you, but if you can pull up a picture of that poster art on that film, it has some of the best poster art that I've ever seen. It is a baboon with an axe.
Well, now I'm pulling that up. Yeah,
that is not in the movie at all, but it is unbelievable artwork. Don't get me wrong, the baboons in that movie are very menacing. They're scary as shit. But that scene is not in the movie. It's basically Alive or Society of the Snow in the desert. A plane goes down in the desert, and a group of people have to survive, and it's very rapey. But it has a really great ending. It's almost like a Twilight Zone ending.
Interesting.
So yeah, I almost want to check out this box set just for that film.
This is a wild cover. I'm trying to bring it up in full screen, but none of these want to go. So let me see if this one might go. All right. Let me see if I can share this over here just for everybody in chat, because, oh, man.
It's great.
That is wild.
That is a wild. Look what's going on over here.
Wow.
I mean, I almost want to buy that poster to put on the wall. I mean, it has nothing to do with the film whatsoever, but it's awesome.
I want that movie.
Right?
Oh man, that is perfect. Let me pull this back up for just a second. Sands of the Kalahari, where did you find that, or is there a reason you watched it? Any reason to seek it out?
I literally was looking for something to watch. I had nothing to watch, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna be on Reconnected. I'm gonna watch one of these movies that's in this box set, so I can talk about it. Oh, I'm gonna watch the one with the baboon with an axe on the cover.
Oh, it's the baboon rape movie. Let's watch that one. Oh man, that is a great reason. I am so glad that you sought it out. I know that a lot of people are very excited about 10 Tall Men because it's another Burt Lancaster movie. Yeah, I mean these Tales of Adventure box sets are pretty incredible from Imprint.
The leading men in these 4 movies is crazy. You got like Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, Richard Harris, Anthony Quinn, and Alain Delon. So
Yep.
it's like they are stacked movies.
Absolutely. Hilton says, I've got a big framed one sheet of Sands in my bedroom.
Amazing.
I am extremely jealous. Wow. Okay. Finally, from Imprint is the Film Focus Kim Novak box set. This is very limited years for Kim Novak, 1957 to 1959. This will include Pal, Joey, Genie, Eagles, and Middle of the Night. 2 of them from 57, 1 from 59. And what is great is 2 out of the 3 of these worldwide first on Blu-ray. I don't know how Imprint always gets away with that, but it's really cool that they keep doing this.
They are doing amazing work. I mean, packaging aside, the movies, I mean, that they're putting out it's incredible. You know, we don't have these things. These things don't exist anywhere. You know?
Right.
So it's so cool to have them. And one of these movies is a Patty Chayefsky written film, The Middle of the Night. I mean, so I don't know if that's a first time on Blu-ray, but that's
it is.
awesome. So I mean, a Patty Chayefsky film is the first time on Blu-ray in a Kim Novak box set. Pretty cool.
In 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Next up, another Kino Lorber no release date title. We are getting Thunder in the East from 1952 with Alan Ladd and Deborah Kerr. Once again, not one that I know a whole lot about, but it's got an interesting poster.
It does. It almost looks like it could go into the adventure box set.
It does, yeah. Just need a slightly more jungle.
Yeah, I know nothing about this.
This one was the first one to kind of make some waves this week. April 2nd, Welgo is releasing Baby Assassins 2. This is a modern Girls with Guns film that is a sequel for Baby Assassins that came out, I believe, in 2021. And it made a pretty big splash. And a lot of people have been dying to see this one since it was announced. Came out last year overseas, has been a little difficult to see, but you can pick it up now and coming soon. Welgo kind of releasing a lot of stuff this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is the releases that we're going to go over tonight. It's such a diverse bunch of labels that are putting that stuff out. I have not seen these films. I've heard that they're more comedy than action.
Yes.
But the action that you do get is really good.
Yep.
So I actually am excited to check these out. They were not on my radar.
Yeah, a lot of the Welgo stuff is kind of difficult to see until they release it. So it's just nice that they're out there licensing these, because without them, I mean, who's going to do it? Next is The Comedy Man from 1964, being released on Blu-ray by Studio Canal in the UK. This is the Kenneth More film, and this is going to have a new 4K restoration of the film, and a couple of the archival interviews, and we've got an interview with Neil Sinyard, interview with Alvin Rakoff, and a trailer. This is one that I have missed, but supposedly is an incredible movie.
Yeah, I don't know very much about this film. I read the description, and I did not know what a kitchen sink drama was, so I actually looked that up. It is a movement in the 50s and 60s in Britain, whose protagonist would be described as angry young men who are disillusioned with modern society. So it sounds very British.
Very, very British. Just that one sentence went, yep, that's a British film.
Yeah.
Next, oh, I forgot about this. June 11th, Unearthed is releasing Homework from 1982 as part of their Unearthed Classics line, which is so I love that they're branching out to some of this, because when you think of Unearthed, you're not thinking of a movie with Wingshauser and Joan Collins and Lee Purcell, and it's
a wild description too. I mean, it's right. Like, there's actually a really good story about this film. So Joan Collins shot this her scenes for this movie before she became like a big star in Dynasty. And it took like years to make this movie because of, money and blah, blah, blah. And so when the film was released, they stuck her face all over the poster because she was a big star by then. So she sued the company because they added a nude double of her in the film that she was not aware of. And then they plastered her face all over the poster. And so she sued them and won. And so that's sort of the interesting story behind this one. I heard the movie stinks, but I still kind of want to see it.
Terry says 1982 delivers again. Wings. Sibner, no, this is not the first Unearthed Classics. They have done, oh gosh, I think 6 or 7, but you do not do not expect like anything like this. This is the first one that's been more I don't, what genre does this even fall under? Like teen sex comedy?
This is like,
or is it more of a drama?
No, this is like I don't know. This is like inappropriate sexual contact between an elderly woman and a high school student type of deal. And it's this scene on the ladder I read is actually in the movie, and there's a weird massage going on or something. I don't know.
First off, that's great, but second off, I love that you researched all of these. You're amazing.
I didn't want to be one of those people that come on here and is like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
I do that every week.
You're busy though.
Next up is Kino. I still can't believe they announced this either. Kino is releasing at some point Johnny Handsome on 4K. This is the Walter Hill film starring Mickey Rourke, Ellen Barkin, Morgan Freeman, Elizabeth McGovern, Lance Henriksen, and Forrest Whitaker from 1989. And I'm shocked that this is coming to 4K. This is such a wild choice.
I have it in this set, the
Same.
Walter Hill set. But I actually watched this movie when I saw it was coming to 4K. It's pretty damn good. I mean, this movie is Mickey Rourke is such an underrated actor in the 80s. He was and the irony of this film, the premise is, have you seen it?
I watched it, I believe, right when the box set dropped, but
okay. So the premise of this film, for those that haven't seen it, is a felon is born with a deformed face, and he gets surgery to correct his face, and he becomes Mickey Rourke. The irony is that what has happened to Mickey Rourke in the last 10 years, where he's taken his handsome face and turned it basically back into a deformed face. So it's sort of an interesting perspective on that. But it's a tight 90-minute movie. It's an easy watch, very much like a dad movie. It's sort of I would call it an elevated B movie. But Mickey Rourke, he actually gives a really nuanced, sort of heartbreaking performance. Like it's pretty damn good.
I remember liking it, and I remember similar feelings about Mickey Rourke, and wishing that he had left well enough alone. Because, man, Mickey Rourke, he could have been somebody. I mean, he was obviously somebody, but
I love Mickey Rourke. The Pope of Greenwich Village is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's so good.
Good stuff. Next up is Fun City Editions, which a lot of people seem to kind of forget that they exist after they are no longer with OCN, but they are still doing incredible work. Their next release is coming in May, and it is Seeing Red. This is a box set of 3 French vigilante films that are all thrillers, following the rich tradition of crime stories in Gaelic literature and cinema. The films in Seeing Red, 3 French vigilante thrillers, Shot Pattern, Street of the Damned, and Blacklist, reflect a collective paranoia about random violence in cities, as well as the international box office success of films such as Death Wish, which depicted ordinary citizens directly confronting criminals. Watch the trailer for this release. These were very difficult to see outside of France, and they look remarkable. This set looks incredible.
Yeah, I also watched that trailer, and this might be one of the most exciting titles they've put out in a long time. I think since they've gone out on their own, this might be my top release for them. And I'm totally caught up with all of their releases, even since they've left OCN. I love the work they do. And like you said, these movies, you can't find them anywhere. They're
Right.
nowhere to be found. So they're doing some good work bringing this kind of stuff to life. And this is like right up my alley.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with this. This and Handgun, I think, are the two best things that they've put out since they left.
I haven't watched that yet. Yeah. This seems very on brand for them. They've gone astray a couple of times. This seems like this for fun. This seems like Fun City, right?
Yeah. This seems harrowing. Special features on here. We've got trailers, image gallery, some archival video interviews, and then newly recorded audio commentaries by Walter Chaw and Travis Woods. And obviously, Walt Chaw's kind of a brilliant, brilliant person. Just ask Craig. He'll tell you all about it. But yeah, this looks like an incredible set and a pretty good price for what looks like 3 amazing movies.
Yeah, I'm pumped for this one.
Next up is Mean Girls, the 2004 original, coming on 4K from Paramount. I don't think there's any new features coming, but we got to point out one thing. A studio putting out limited edition packaging for a movie like Mean Girls with a pink 4K case and a slip book slip cover that looks like the burn book. This is surprisingly great coming from a studio. I don't know that I don't think we've ever seen a pink 4K case yet, but
No.
This is a remarkable change, and God, do I hope other studios take notice, because there are many people that will buy this literally just because it has a pink case.
Yeah, I actually that's the one thing that kind of stands out because it's so odd to see that. A lot of these studio catalog releases when you buy them overseas have sort of different colored cases. Like I have a few white ones, I have a gold one, I have a silver one, stuff that I've bought when I was in Europe. And I don't have a pink one though. I mean, that almost makes me want to put that on the shelf because my daughter likes to walk into my movie room and she picks out a movie and she picks out anything with a pink spine. And so this would come out every time. And for a long time, it was something totally inappropriate that she should not be pulling off the shelf. So this seems more appropriate. I forget exactly what it was, but
I love this movie too. I think this is a great choice. I think there was might have even been Mean Girls that came out in a pink Blu-ray case years ago. I had taken the Blu-ray case from that because I got rid of that because of a Steelbook or something, and then I put the Scream Factory's release of The Blob in it. And man, does that movie go perfectly in that pink
that's
case.
Awesome. Good call.
Next up is Shameless in the UK, which a lot of people always are unhappy with their quality, which I agree, it's not great. February 26th, which is very soon, they are releasing a Blu-ray of Ursula Andress in The Nurse from 1979. Everybody always jokes and calls her Ursula Undress. Also has Jack Palance in this one. This is supposedly a new 2K restoration of the fully uncut version of the film. They've got an interview with the director and set and costume designer on working with the Bond lovely ladies. It's Shameless, so guard yourself. Don't expect a masterpiece. Not for the film, just for the quality of what you're going to be getting.
And speaking of alternate color cases, I mean, Shameless. I mean, their yellow cases is kind of the only thing they have going for them at this point.
Yep. If I move one of my shoulders, you could probably see the yellow of House with the Laughing Window screaming behind me because God, is it bright.
Yeah, I'm kind of in on it. I kind of want to see this just for Jack Palance. I'll watch anything with him in it, but this is interesting.
Yeah, this is we'll see. I bet this gets a better release from somebody eventually.
Yeah, that's usually the case. I mean, half the stuff that I have from them, I have better releases already, and I just haven't gotten rid of the stuff that I have because I kind of like the way the yellow boxes look over there on the shelf.
They're nice.
Yeah.
You can always replace other titles, like I just said with Mean Girls.
That's true.
Next one, Magnolia on March 12th is releasing Immediate Family from 2022. This says Immediate Family tracks the rise and collaborations of a group of legendary studio musicians through the 70s and onward, chronicling their illustrious partnerships and their formidable record of hit making. This is really interesting music doc that I have been dying to see. Supposedly, this is really well made. Glad this is getting a physical release because stuff like this normally doesn't.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not the biggest into music documentaries, but this is a new release, right? 2022. Okay, yeah.
Yep,
So, yeah, I'm willing to give this a shot for sure. Like I said, it's not really my cup of tea.
I get it. I get it. Sibner brought up since I said the house with the laughing windows, he's trying to guess who's going to get the upgraded version of that in the U.S. We kind of have confirmed that that's coming. I've talked about that before. Who do you think is going to get it in the U.S.?
House with a Laughing Window. I mean, that seems like. That seems like it would be like a Severin title, wouldn't it?
My guess was either Severin or Arrow.
Okay,
I could see Arrow doing it dual in the UK and the US possibly.
that would make sense.
But I guess it depends on who is given the opportunity for.
Mm-hmm.
Terry says, given this is from the director of The Wrecking Crew, I'm definitely in for Immediate Family. Would have caught it in theaters, but it only played one single night. Damn.
That's too bad. This is. I mean, I would be much more interested watching something like this in a movie theater.
Ooh, Humboldt says maybe Mondo Macabro. That would
That's
be a
a
good pick.
call. That would be a big.
Great.
That would be a big release for them.
Yeah, that would be. Although it's the year of Cafe Flesh, so anything is possible. Next, speaking of flesh, April 23rd on 4K. That was awful.
No, it's perfect. I mean,
April 23rd, Cult Epics is releasing Frivolous Lola on 4K. We knew this was coming, but we got some details and we got some art. This is the Tinto Brass film, and we are going to be getting a couple 4K from Tinto soon. This was a big Kickstarter thing that Cult Epics did. They've got a new 4K restoration of the fully uncut version of the film with HDR and everything. New audio commentary by Eugenio Ercolani and Nathaniel Thompson, both of which have been on the channel before. Check those out. New trailers for the 4K restoration of the film, and then a whole bunch of archival interviews and, Italian tracks, English subtitles, a reversible sleeve with an illustrated book with an essay by Eugenio Ercolani and Domenico Monetti. Lots of cool stuff. Tinto, have you seen any Tinto films?
I actually watched this.
What did you think?
It was my first Tinto Brass film. I actually found it charming as hell. It is. It's basically an hour and 20 minutes of the lead actress riding around on a bicycle / motorcycle or scooter, anything with two wheels, with a very free flowing skirt.
I was about to say, what you wearing, John?
Sometimes she's wearing underwear and sometimes she's not. Let's just say that the skirt should get an acting credit in this film. This thing is putting in a lot of work. There's a lot of low angles. It's very pervy, but that's kind of where the charm is. It's very Italian. Which I kind of really like. In Tinto Brass, he literally put himself in the movie. He's like the conductor during like a big wedding scene, and he's like basically winking at the camera the entire time. He's not taking anything seriously. So the movie's actually a lot of fun, and I would be interested in exploring the rest of his catalog. I won't be watching it on a plane, though. I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's an interesting catalog, and I'll let you do the discovering on that one.
Oh, and the score is by Pino Donaggio. I mean,
it
that's
sure is.
Cool. Yeah.
John Public says, I accidentally brought that Cold Epics announcement up at work.
Yeah.
Something happened and Instagram pulled this announcement momentarily, and I had to appeal it. There's not a single frame of nudity on this at all.
Sometimes the image can conjure more vulgar images in your brain than what you're actually looking at, and those God forbid somebody at Instagram has a sense of humor or any taste in culture,
any taste in something.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, I put up an interview with Joe Yannick of Yellow Veil Pictures. Check it out. Yellow Veil Pictures does not do a lot publicly because there are 3 of them involved with the company, and they are running 24/7. Joe Yannick and I have been talking for going on like 20 months and finally just made this work, but barely got this recorded, and I'm so glad that it's out there. Hope you guys check this out. He's got some wild hair and some fun stories about the releases they've put out. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, I agree. Check it out. Very good interview. And then Yellow Veil's doing great work. They're probably in my top 3 favorite partner labels for sure.
Well, now to put you on the spot, you know what we got to do.
Oh,
Who's the other two? Come on.
oh well, Deaf Crocodile's in the chat, man. Come on, let's see. Deaf Crocodile. I'm gonna say Yellow Veil and Canadian International Pictures.
Good choices.
I love the exploitation stuff that they're putting out, the crime films and stuff, man. I'm totally into it.
The last like 3 months of their titles have been perfect. Like maybe the best stuff that they've put out.
Yeah, I'm really like they're one of the labels where I'm like totally, and I even bought that weird snow alien movie, whatever the hell that was they put out, just because I trust them.
The Christmas Martian.
Yes, that one.
In fact, they might be in the chat tonight too. He watches quite often.
Great.
April 2nd, as a Walmart exclusive 4K Steelbook from Lionsgate, we get the 4K restoration that was just done recently of Cutthroat Island from 1995. This is the Gina Davis and Matthew Modine film that's coming. I don't know why I said Modine. But the bigger thing, a lot of people on here love Rennie Harlan. This is a really interesting Rennie Harlan flick. Fun story of how this was made and kind of killed the idea of another Fly sequel. This is this one is Cutthroat Island. What do you think of Cutthroat?
I haven't ever seen this movie because it notoriously bombed, I think, in the mid 90s.
Yeah, real bad.
And it totally, and I guess I just missed it. And I don't know that it's had a great release. I love this artwork. I love Gina Davis too. And this is a Lionsgate, right?
It is.
But is it a Walmart exclusive?
It is.
And so that's interesting to me that that Lionsgate has sort of shifted all of their exclusives to them. Have you seen the price for this yet?
Funny enough, that was what I was about to bring up. So Lionsgate got shut out by Best Buy, no longer handling anything, which if you were shopping at Best Buy for Lionsgate Steelbooks for the longest time, they were $20, $19.99 on release day. Then they raised their price. It was $22, $23 was the going rate, and that stuck until Best Buy was done with it. And now this is showing up at $35 at Walmart right now. $35.
When I actually looked it up, I saw that this one was $39.99.
Oh,
Cutthroat
okay.
Island. I mean, it's obscene. The ones that you're about to show, I think, are the ones that are $35, $36.
Yeah.
But I would love to see this movie, and I really actually love this steelbook. But
the art on this is incredible.
I'm not ready to be paying boutique prices for catalog releases with nothing new on the discs, and so I don't think I will be getting this just because it's just kind of an obscene price. I understand the work that has gone into the scan, blah blah blah, but $40 is a lot of money for a catalog release like this.
Especially for one that had a 4K come out from Studio Canal that I could buy from from Orbit as an import for like $23 or $24.
Yeah.
It's wild. And I love this art. I would buy the Steelbook in a heartbeat if it cost 50% less.
Yeah, I mean, those were kind of, Steelbooks are usually more expensive, and Lionsgate sort of set that precedent where they would be $20, $22, whatever it was. Right. And I actually bought a good, healthy chunk of them just because they were reasonable, and they were mostly 4Ks. And I'm not quite ready to lay down that kind of cash for this kind of movie, though. Especially a film that was sort of a bomb. I don't. It's sort of an investment I'm not really ready to take.
It's a pricey risk.
Yeah.
And John Public's right here, paying $40 to Walmart to get it in a giant box or one of those little compressed cardboard mailers that is nothing else in there, and everything that touches it is going to dent it, even a piece of paper.
Is this stuff showing up in stores? Do we know? I have no idea. I haven't been in a Walmart in so long. I mean, will this be on a shelf at Walmart, or is this going to be?
This is on some shelves. It appears that right now they're showing up on about half of the Walmarts. And of course, none of those are around me.
Yeah.
So it sucks.
Yeah, it's not trending in the right direction, price wise.
I agree. Yeah, it's not. Again, not to toot my own horn, but I did kind of raise the red flag of Best Buy leaving. Everybody's saying no big deal. I don't shop there. Less competition is going to fuck us all.
Absolutely. And even on Amazon, if you pre-order something for $40, by the time you actually ship it, they kind of go with the trends, and their prices change. If you pre-order this, you're paying $40 for it. It's not going to
Right.
change, you know?
And the other scary thing is the only reason the Amazon price goes down is to price match other retailers.
I know.
If there are no other retailers, what are they going to do?
Yeah, we're paying the price.
Well, I won't be.
Nope, that's true. Good point.
Next Lionsgate Steelbook, this is coming again April 2nd as a Walmart exclusive, is Red and Red 2 as a double feature 4K Steelbook. I actually really like both these movies. I'm glad this is coming out. It's a little rich for my blood, but it looks like a fun release.
Yeah, this is a lot more reasonable. I think this is the same price, but you get two movies, so I'm okay with that. I own both of these on Blu-ray. I haven't actually watched them yet. I've always wanted to, and I've heard they're actually decent. And so I'll have to watch those before I, pitch in for this. I mean, it's cool artwork though. Really cool artwork.
The first one is much better, but both of these are pretty shockingly fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them a try.
Next up, yet another Lionsgate, April 2nd, Walmart exclusive 4K Steelbook for Rambo First Blood. And again, this is kind of funny and, should point out, this is literally the exact same Rambo Steelbook that they had in that pack that they had in the giant big metal pack thing with just a slipcover on it. So it's the exact same thing, just pulled out.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is obviously the best one. So I did not shell out for the big tin whatever because I don't, I really loved before Stallone became an action, superhero basically in the mid 80s. So I appreciate this one. I actually might think about getting this. I don't know that I own First Blood on 4K, so this might be actually something I shell out for.
Well, heads up, they were supposedly going to be doing a new restoration, and there's no news that this is that new restoration. Considering it's a repack of the Steelbook, I bet it's a repack of the disc. And if you're gonna regret spending on that when there's a new 4K in another year, you might want to hold out.
I've waited this long; I can wait a little longer.
Chris Silvestri is commenting in here, trying to text his wife in my chat.
Oh man, that could be dangerous, dude.
Oh yes. Next, March 5th on Blu-ray from Universal, they are putting out Suits, the complete series, of which I've never even seen a scene from. This is like the most famous TV show that I know nothing about, and I don't know how. Suits, did you watch it?
My wife is a big Anglophile, and so all I know is that this has Meghan Markle in it.
Okay? That's all I know too.
That's all I know. My wife actually went to the royal wedding 4 or 5 years ago. She hates them now, but she actually went to stand with the crazy people and wave flags and stuff. So that's the only thing I know about this show. So good luck to those that enjoy this kind of thing, but I know nothing about it.
There is plenty of special features, got a bunch of commentaries, some gags, deleted scenes, all kinds of stuff. Again, know nothing about it, never seen it. But oh man, did Kino Lorber make some waves by announcing this. April 23rd on 4K, Kino is releasing Nostalgia from Tarkovsky on both a standalone 4K and Blu-ray release. This is going to have an audio commentary by Daniel Bird on it, with some archival interviews with the DP, Giuseppe Lanci, and then we got a re-release trailer. But this is the first Tarkovsky on 4K. This is a pretty big deal.
I was going to ask you if that's the first one. That's a huge deal. I mean, Tarkovsky's a bit of a blind spot for me. I think I watched Andrei Rublev or Solaris in film school, and I was not in the right frame of mind for that as a 21, 22-year-old.
Right.
And I've never seen this film, but bravo to Kino. I mean, they just keep pumping them out, man. They got the cult stuff. They've got Tarkovsky now. I mean, they are, they're doing movies that would work on Criterion, movies that would work on Vinegar Syndrome, movies that work on Severin. I mean, they're kind of unbelievable, and they're with their sales, they become so reasonable. They're kind of the polar opposite of paying $40 for Cutthroat Island,
Right.
They don't, they've gone to the slipcover trend, but it's really all about the movie for them, which I really kind of respect at this point. So this is really cool.
So yes, this is the first Tarkovsky 4K, and I believe there's one other Tarkovsky film that's had a 4K remaster. I would not be surprised if that one is coming soon, maybe from Kino. If it's not Kino, it'll likely be Criterion. But some of the bigger ones that Criterion has put out, I don't know if those are getting remasters anytime soon. It would not surprise me. It's kind of about that time and would not be shocking in the least bit. So keep an eye out. This is probably the first sands falling in the hourglass of what is really going to be hitting hard for a lot of Tarkovsky stuff.
Great. Can't wait.
Next up is Dogman from Altitude Films in the UK. This is coming on March 11th on Blu-ray. This is the next Luc Besson film, who is, of course, the mastermind behind Leon and a bunch of other great movies. But this stars Caleb Landry Jones, who I've honestly kind of loved in every single thing he's acted in. I've heard this is really great, kind of a return to form for Besson. Dying to see this. What do you think of Luc Besson?
Well, that's a complicated question.
He's got a lot of ups and downs.
I will watch anything with Caleb Landry Jones, even if they're made by like Luc Besson.
Yeah.
This looks kind of awesome. I didn't know this existed. It's a 2023 release. It's not available anywhere. I don't even know if it got a theatrical. So I am pumped for this. Like, when is this coming out? Did we have a date or no?
Yes,
March
we
11th?
do. March 11th.
Yeah, this looks awesome. And like I said, he's great in literally everything.
I agree. He was, God, was the Last Exorcist the Last Exorcism the first thing I saw him in? Maybe. He was great in Get Out.
Mm-hmm. Antiviral with Brandon Cronenberg's first movie. He's in that.
So good.
He's in an Australian movie that came out last year, 2 years ago. I forget what it's called, but he plays a mass shooter. It's a very dark film, but he's obviously brilliant. True story. But he's also in one of the Safdie films as one of the leads. One of their early films, Heaven Knows What, I think it's called.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Really good. Really good.
Some questions on if this is a remake or related to the Garone Dogman in any way. I have no idea. I did not look into that.
No clue.
Next up is another release of The Raid. Play On Pictures in Germany is releasing The Raid Ultimate Edition on 4K and Blu-ray on April 24th. A lot of the same making of featurettes and interviews that we had previously. Unfortunately, this does not look to be English friendly, but it looks to be a really solid release of this movie.
I haven't picked up the most recent 4K that just came out.
Me neither.
I don't think I'll be getting this one if it's got English friendly issues, but I love that box.
Yeah, it's really great art. I've heard through the grapevine, this is not a confirmation. Don't say I said this or anything. The rumor is this could be getting another boutique release in the next few months. So I would love, considering we only have a release in the States of the 4K and now Germany, that means the UK and Australia is wide open. We could get something great from Umbrella for this. Could you imagine a second sight release of The Raid on 4K?
Yeah, I was actually thinking that this is one of those movies that's going to have like a dozen releases. The 4K scan's done. Like it's going to be in every region's going to have their version of it because it's such a it feels like it's a collector's movie. It's like one of those films that it feels underground, but it's sort of mainstream. Like even people that aren't into film, like we're into film, know The Raid, and so when they want to feel subversive and like cool, make a cool suggestion, they'll always oh, have you seen The Raid? Yeah. So I think we'll be seeing this one a lot.
I think Key-Ray knows something here. So I bet we see another announcement here soon.
Yeah.
Next up, I am working on, and so is Stan, who's currently in the chat. Stan, thank you for everything you do. We are working on the next issue of the Physical Media Advocate, and actually on Antonio, who's normally in the chat. He's going to be helping us from this point forward as well. And the big thing, we're trying to spread the letter to the editor column. We've already got 3 or 4 for this month, but we are looking to have a bunch more. If you've got something that you want featured, some funny story, you want something for us to react to, you want ask a question, see if everybody else deals with something the same way you do, or just do something funny. Send me a message on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. Send me an email. I've got that listed everywhere. It's in the description below. I will print it. If you want to be anonymous because it's something scathing, that's totally fine. If you want to complain about the Kino release of the Boogans that supposedly looks awful, that's great. Let's do it. I think this is going to be really fun. And a couple of letters for this month are pretty incredible already.
I don't know how you have time to run a special features company, run this channel, do your day job, and literally put out a friggin' magazine every month. Like, dude, it's unbelievable. It's a real magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, you're doing a hell of a job, man. It's great. We're all very lucky to be in your ring here.
I'm literally feeling myself blush. Thank you. That's incredible. I'm always red, so you can't tell. Next up, one that's really exciting. Kino is releasing on April 30th as part of their Kino Classics line, the Vitagraph comedies. We don't have all the titles yet, but this is going to be a 3-disc collection. So you can guarantee this is going to be like one of their the early Women of Cinema set that they put out, or the history of black film, a couple of those sets that they did. It's going to be something like that, and it's going to have a whole lot of love in this. This is going to have a lot of the early comedies that were long before, the Buster Keatons and all that a lot of us know that were mainstream, all help from the Library of Congress. This looks like an amazing release.
Yeah, man. Anytime you can, you look at the packaging, you see a little Library of Congress stamp on there. That is a pretty big deal. Yeah. This is Kino. I mean, this is the Kino umbrella. They're just constantly killing. I mean, Vitagraph was a film production company in the early 20th century out of Brooklyn that was eventually bought by Warner Brothers, I think, in the 20s. And so they have like a 30-year history of early, pioneer film. So this will be really interesting to see what's in here. This is amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait. The collections that they do on these are always just so well put together. Yeah, very, very excited for this. Next one is April 5th. We're getting a 4K release somehow of Motley Crue The End live in Los Angeles. And shockingly, first off, it wasn't their final show, of course. It wasn't. I think they even toured fully after this show. But this is Motley Crue in 2015 playing a long set of a lot of their biggest hits. And they've got some extended interviews and some behind the scenes on some of the features that they did, like the flaming bass and Tommy's drum rig. This is just wild that this is getting a 4K release.
Yeah, no offense to any fans in the chat, but I'd rather stick pins in my eyes than watch this.
So one of the reasons that I wanted to share this, though, is buried in this announcement had additional 4K titles to be released later this year, include Black Sabbath The End, Eric Clapton's Slow Hand at 70 live at the Royal Albert Hall, and Steven Wilson Home Invasion in concert at the Royal Albert Hall.
Interesting. Who's putting this out, Ryan?
This is Mercury Studios in the UK.
Interesting. Okay. I guess, there's obviously people want this kind of stuff, so the fact that they're putting it on 4K is kind of amazing. Is it going to have like an Atmos track or something like that? I feel like
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah. That might actually be kind of cool.
For a different band, yeah. I completely agree.
Exactly.
Next, March 5th, Universal is releasing The Prince of Egypt, the musical, which I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't know there was a Prince of Egypt, the musical. This is coming out on Blu-ray on that day. And the original movie was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know that I even saw the original movie. So this is a little out of my comfort zone. Maybe my daughter would like it. Maybe, I don't know. So
I watched this originally when I was buried deep in religion, and then even coming out after religion, I was shocked that it was still like a fairly well told story.
Who is Prince of Egypt? It's not Disney, right? It's
No, it's DreamWorks, I believe.
DreamWorks. Okay, yeah, I that kind of I don't I missed that. I don't
Oh,
know.
it's right there. Yeah,
Yep, there you
DreamWorks.
go. There you go. I wish I could help you out here. I got nothing for the Prince of Egypt, the musical.
That's that's totally acceptable for that title. April 23rd, Milestone Films is releasing Household of Saints, which I've not seen before, but man, this sounds great and has some incredible reviews. This says Nancy Savoca's star-studded indie gem Household Saints is a chronicle of a spirited Italian-American New York family. So basically, this was made for John. That perfectly balances humor, tragedy, and pathos. Joseph Santangelo, there's 9 different ways you can pronounce that last name, is a butcher with a wicked sense of humor who wins his wife, Catherine, played by Tracy Ullman, in a pinochle game. Over the protests of his mother, who's played by Judith Molina, who talks to ghosts and makes deals with saints, Joseph marries Catherine. When the old lady dies, her spirit is channeled into her grandfather, Teresa, who yearns to serve God. Oh, sorry, granddaughter, Teresa, who yearns to serve God. I thought grandfather Teresa sounded weird. Perfectly embodying a modern-day Bernadette, Lily Taylor imbues Teresa with a mix of dedicated innocence and naivete. This is executive produced by Jonathan Demme. We've got some extras on this, including some student films from Nancy Savoca. That's pretty damn cool. And then a 2023 making of doc, and then archival interviews with the cast and Jonathan Demme. Pretty interesting release.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for these sort of Italian American New York City period things anyway. But bravo to Milestone Cinematique. I don't know what that is, but that's kind of the cool thing about this, what we are into. Like, even if I don't buy this disc, it's on my radar now. I eventually might get it, and it's a film I'd never heard of, but it seems like it's right up my alley, like you said. But I'd never heard of it. It's produced by Jonathan Demme. I'm not familiar with the director's work, but this is kind of amazing. It's got D'Onofrio in it. It's good. This is probably great.
It probably is. It seems like it's got a really great reputation in history, and I mean, at this point, it's 31 years old. That's great just to resurrect it.
Yeah, Milestone Films. I mean, who are these labels?
This is a partner label of Kino, actually.
Really? Okay. Well, there you go. Well, I guess maybe I'll wait for a sale. It'll be $7 before you know it.
Speaking of Kino, next one, April 23rd, we are getting the next Forbidden Fruit, the golden age of the exploitation picture that they have been doing with Something Weird for a few years now. This is number 15 in that line, and this is The Road to Ruin from 1934. It also has the 1928 silent version of this, but on top of that, it's got an audio commentary for both versions of the films. Again, just love the stuff that Kino does for this. It's also got a gallery of exploitation trailers. I was shocked that this came out. I thought that they were completely done with this line, considering Something Weird is doing their own sort of thing, trying to close the doors, and obviously they're still helping some other people with releases. But I thought they were done with this for a while at least, and here we go. This is number 15. This is rad.
Yeah, it's like, I love these like educational vintage films that they put out. It's like it's so bizarre. And it's like Kino is just, I mean, this is falling under the same umbrella as the label that's putting out Kindergarten Cop on 4K.
Nostalgia from Tarkovsky.
And Tarkovsky. I mean, we run the gamut tonight. So bravo to them. This looks unbelievable.
Yeah, it's Kino just doing incredible work.
Yeah.
Okay, so in with the good and out with the bad. This was something that came across my feed earlier and just wanted to share. Crunchyroll, who is somebody that's a huge name in anime, so is Funimation. It appears that they are shutting down the Funimation streaming service, but then deleting everybody's purchased copies of stuff, while they also hike their own prices. So this is just a reminder. Physical media is the only thing that you can own and own and own in this. If you are buying digital, they can take it away from you at any moment.
Yeah, I mean, not that we needed another reason to beat our chest, and we're preaching to the choir here, obviously, but this is so scummy. I mean, this is just
Right.
like so like gross, and like to a community that is, you know, obviously invested into that kind of, you know, anime. It's really, it's kind of depressing. It's like it's you know, we don't, not that we need any more rallying cries or anything, but this sucks.
For those that don't know, the odd thing about this is that one of the studios that we, especially I praise quite often, Sony, who does some great restoration work, has been huge in film for more than 100 years. I mean, this year is literally their 100th anniversary. They are technically the ones behind this. They
Mm.
sort of forced Crunchyroll and Funimation to be merged, and they are the studio that's controlling all of this at the moment. So, if you've got an issue with the anime side, Sony is kind of the one to blame here. Go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna say, just not that I'm breaking news to anybody here, but like, you know, you're not actually buying this stuff; you're leasing it if you're buying
Right.
it digitally. So, I mean, if you're okay with that, then that's cool. But this is, just know that these people don't really have your best interests in mind and don't care that you've bought something.
So I, just like you, I'm sure I have a quite large digital collection, mostly from stuff that I bought physical and it came with the digital. And when you're somebody like John, who's literally traveling all over the country for most of the year, that comes in very handy to be able to access a lot of your films from afar. Accessibility is great. Streaming is fantastic in a lot of situations, and I really hope people have the ability to take advantage of watching those. However, if it's something you want to own, spending $20 on a digital version is basically donating to a wishing well. You're not going to get anything in the long run for that money. And most likely, it's sort of, buried in that fine print that they can remove it at any point in time, so you have no recourse against it. But even just using the word buy or purchase on any of these screens is sort of scummy, because they know that it's not going to be there in perpetuity.
I totally agree, and I mean, like you said, the access that we have, you know, the ability. I talked at the top of the stream. I watched the two Jonathan Demme movies, Jonathan Glazer movies, on an airplane. You know, I downloaded them to my iPad and watched them on a flight. You know, that was, you know, not always possible, and it's not. I wouldn't have the time to watch as many films as I do, you know, over the course of you know, my life, because, you know, we have the streaming, you know, system in place. I mean, I love owning the stuff, but you can't, you got to kind of draw the line with the definition of ownership. I mean, it's kind of you can't even call it a library, a digital library, because it's not something that's going to be there forever. I mean, this stuff is not necessarily going to be here forever, but it's going to be here for the rest of my life, probably. So that kind of makes me sleep well at night, knowing that. You know, I'd have high anxiety if all this stuff was just on a server somewhere.
Yeah, fully agree. This is rough, and especially for anime fans. Like, I'm not super deep into anime. I've literally only seen a couple titles ever. But anime is especially rife with problems for physical media, because there will be some, I don't know, like 15 episode show that will come out, and you will only be able to buy 5 episodes at a time, and
Mm.
each of the 5 episodes will cost like $90. It's exorbitant for some of the anime releases, because they know that, licensing stuff out of Japan is very expensive, but people will pay it. So we'll charge more, and it'll go over like gangbusters. We'll be rich. Something has to give here, and it's really messy when it comes down to, they just want you to have to pay every single time you watch something, and literally never own something.
And people that love anime, like really love anime, like it's like
Yes.
a lifestyle. And so, you know, people wake up in the morning and their entire library is gone. It's really sad.
Well said. Yeah, nothing else to say to that. It's this one's rough. 88 Films, who announces things in a very odd way. Uh, their announcement today was just this picture, and here's what we have coming in April from them. In the UK, they are releasing the Inspector Wears Skirts 3, the Inspector Wears Skirts 4, Beast in the Cellar, Beast in the Cellar on DVD, uh, Gator. This is the Burt film, of course, that's coming on Blu-ray. It's coming out as part of the 88 Vault collection on Blu-ray. Should say that as well. They're putting that out on DVD too. Vertical Limit is getting a UK Blu-ray. Evolution coming out on Blu-ray and DVD. Fearless Hyena 2, that's coming out on UK Blu-ray. Then we got Shockwaves coming out from the 88 Vault collection in the UK as well. And then in the US, we are getting the Inspector Wears Skirts 3, the Inspector Wears Skirts 4, and then the previously announced Project A collection in 4K and Blu-ray. Big month for 88 Films, and unfortunately, they miss a lot of their release dates. So be prepared for some of these to not come out when they say they are.
Yeah, it's hard to get really excited about this, the way that they did this. This is like, you have to, it's just a little much, like in one screenshot here. Although, yep. I remember liking Evolution back when I was a younger person.
Evolution was fun.
Yeah, I think it's an Ivan Reitman film, actually, right?
It is.
I think it's an alien movie, and I don't know if it's a spoiler or not, but I think the way they kill the aliens is with Head and Shoulders shampoo. Is that a thing? I think
that sounds right. It's been a long time.
I don't know why that's in my brain, but I think that's what happens. But yeah, I would actually be interested in Evolution, revisiting that.
To make it known how long ago I saw this, I saw it on release in a drive-in when it first came out.
That's kind of awesome.
That was a long time ago. Next up, Kino Lorber. Speaking of weird films that they're putting out, they are putting out The Invisible Fight from 2023, and the description of this movie: USSR China border, 1973. Young soldier Raphael is on guard duty when the border falls under attack from flying Chinese kung fu warriors, leaving him as the sole survivor. Utterly fascinated by the long-haired martial artist who easily dispatched his fellow guards, all while blasting forbidden Black Sabbath music from their portable radio, Raphael is struck by a revelation. He too wants to become a kung fu warrior. Looking for mentorship but with limited options, faith leads Raphael to seek martial arts teachers at the most unlikely of places, the local Eastern Orthodox monastery, where the black-clad monks begin his training. With the skeptical mother, a rival monk, and a budding love interest pulling him in different directions, Raphael finds that his journey to unlock the greatest martial art of all, the almighty power of humility, is long, winding, and full of kick-ass adventures.
Wow. Okay, I need to see this before I finalize my top films of 2023. I must see this.
I don't even know what to feel or be excited about after that. This sounds really fun.
I mean, yeah, between that description and this box art, I am feeling this movie. This seems actually kind of awesome.
It seems to be that it played at Fantastic Fest and Sitges in Spain. Yeah, looks and sounds very, very interesting. David says...
that pull quote.
David says not a lot of reviews of this in English. The quote says an explosive mix of kung fu, heavy metal, and Orthodox Christianity. All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Spaghetti, I don't know what this is, but I'm so sold on this mess.
Oh yeah, I'm here for it.
Next up is the Iron Claw from 2023. A24 and Lionsgate are releasing this on Blu-ray on March 26th. What are the odds this gets a fancy A24 or 4K, you think?
I don't know, man. I'm a sucker. I end up buying the stuff on release day. I did it with the holdovers. And, probably have to double dip for that at some point. The 4K is already out overseas. So I don't know. This movie was great. I'm gonna eventually get it, I'm sure. This is actually one of the I think snubs for all of the award season stuff, and it could have gotten 1,000 different things. It's a very good movie. It's obviously heartbreaking. it's almost so sad that it doesn't seem real. The film's like, oh, this is ridiculous, but you look it up, it's actually what happened.
Worse.
The family is worse, and so it's but it's actually the first half of the film was very fun. The first half of the film almost feels like Dazed and Confused.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and then the second half is like Final Destination, because it's just like they just death is coming for everybody in that family.
The second half is like tragedy Inception.
But yes, everyone should check this out. This was great.
Ronnie says, can't wait to finally see this. Maura Tierney's one of my favorites. This literally may be Maura Tierney's best performance she's ever given.
The whole cast does a great job.
Yeah.
Who plays the father? Blanking out right now. He is one of, it was awesome performance.
I never remember his name. He is the guy that was in Mindhunter.
Mindhunter. He's the partner in Mindhunter.
I'm sure somebody knows his name, and we'll hear it in the next 5 seconds in chat. Simner says, not just a fancy 4K, but different editions with each of the brothers on it. Oh God.
Holt McElhaney.
That's his name. That's why I never remember that last name, because it's such an interesting last name.
He's great. And obviously,
everybody talked about Zac Efron. He might be my favorite part of this whole movie.
You're right. His is the performance that has stayed with me since I've seen it. Although Zac Efron's hair has stayed with me much longer than that.
Ronnie, holy McElhaney.
He's still talking about the Orthodox Christianity Kung Fu movie.
Yeah. Dustin says Dazed and Confused meets Final Destination equals Sold. Nice. Maura Tierney's best performance is in Scotland, PA. I've heard that, and I've not seen that one, so I will digress on that. I guess we end on a pitch. It's an interesting time to sign up for the Patreon. I've got a lot going on and a lot of stuff about to happen. So if you were ever on the edge of the gates or the fence, what have you, and you were thinking about signing up, this might be the time. Over the next couple weeks, I've got videos coming out that I've already been doing some filming for. I'm about to do my limited edition quarterly merch and handwritten notes to be sent out to all kinds of people on the list. The zine's about to drop, and if you are on that certain level, you get it for free. There's a lot of stuff about to happen. So if you were ever considering that, check that out in the description below.
Join the Patreon, everybody. Join the Patreon. Join the Discord. It's well worth your money, and your money's going to the hardest working man in the business. So sign up.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a lot. I hope it's worth your time. The Discord is literally my favorite thing, maybe in the entire world.
It's great. It's great. It's worth every cent.
Next week, just in case you forgot, we've got The Marvels on 4K, Columbia Classics Volume 4, which doesn't seem to be dropping by release date on Amazon like a lot of people had hoped for. However, Deep Discount has it for, I think it's like $145 is the cheapest to get it right now, I think. I definitely am needing to get that one eventually, but I'm hoping this goes as low as Part 3 did.
Yeah, I missed the first one, so I just gave up on ever collecting the Columbia Classic sets, which is probably a mistake because there's some films on there that haven't gotten single releases yet. But I'm holding out for Taxi Driver, right? The first one?
No, Taxi Driver's in the second one, I think. That's what I just watched is the 4K from that. And supposedly that's getting a standalone release later this year, potentially.
Good, I hope so. You figure eventually the stuff will get their individual releases, but I have not. The bulky packaging is tough these days,
That's very, very true.
Yeah.
Planet Earth 3 coming on 4K, the BBC release. Footloose 4K. Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny finally coming to high definition. Did this get delayed, the Universal Classic Monsters set? That's interesting that showed up there. Okay. Marvel's 4K Steelbook, Hunger Games, the newest one, is coming out this next week. Fear is the Key from Arrow. Willy's Wonderland 4K from Scream Factory, including a Steelbook option. Romer's Tales of the Four Seasons from Criterion. Priscilla this week. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 1 is coming out. Goodbye and Amen from Radiance. Twilight. This is coming from Arbalos. I would highly recommend checking them out. Let's Dance from, I believe that's coming from the studio, MGM, I think. The Shaolin Plot from Arrow. Gomer Pyle, USMC, the complete series. Harriet 4K. Ticket to Paradise 4K. A Creature Was Stirring. I think that's coming from Welgo. And Godard Cinema is coming next week as well. I am interested in a few of these. What about you? Anything sticking out to you?
Priscilla, but it's the same problem with Iron Claw. Like, are we going to get a 4K eventually? Like, I hate playing that game. It's just like so frustrating. I want to support the film. I want to support the release, but are we going to get a 4K in 6 months? Is A24 going to do their thing? I actually have that sitting in a cart at Orbit right now, and I'm like, I don't know. I love the movie, and it would look great in 4K. Maybe I need to kind of change my philosophy on all of this. Do I need to own everything in 4K? Am I going to be happy with the Blu-ray for a film like that? Yes. But the OCD in me kind of just wants to own it on the best version. And so it drives me kind of nuts. But I need to stop beating myself up. In 2024, I'm trying to get less frustrated with stuff like that. I
get it. I don't want to spill everything yet, but I have a video coming out soon where it's a pre-recorded video. I haven't done one of these in a long time. That I'm trying to show some things to help some people in this this world of appreciating home video and collecting, but also less on the collecting side, more so on doing it for the best film capabilities. And when it comes to 4K versus Blu-ray, a lot of people are still super skeptical. And I think I have a couple ways to help you make your decision. So we're going to be talking about that soon on the channel. Hope that helps when it comes out, because I get it. It's a big thing, especially frustrating when the studio says, here's the Blu-ray, and 6 months later, here's the 4K.
Yeah, I just hate the dance. I hate having to think like that. I want to own the movie and be done with it forever. I want it to be there on the shelf. I don't want to have anxiety about the next great release of it. I kind of want that to be, once I buy it, I bought it. I want it to be done. But that's the way it goes. That's the hobby in 2024.
Thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share with someone else that may appreciate this.